And welcome to another edition of South Texas Crossfire. We're back from a break and we're bringing on a powerhouse, a leviathan of publishing, Thomas Holbein. Let me tell you, he is the descendant of the first mayor of Corpus Christi, Reuben Holbein. His dad was with the Dallas Morning News, and now he's starting his publication company that's taking things by storm, not to mention what he's already done on radio. So welcome, Tom. How are you?
Good, Joe. Thank you for having me on the show.
Well, you know, that power voice of yours on radio, everybody already knows. I'm glad they're getting to meet you on television for the first time, aside from your own show, Equal Time, that is also very popular here in South Texas. I think you just brought on Alex Garcia, right?
Yeah, I did, Alex.
Okay. Well, tell us a little bit about who Tom Holbein is and your family and where you came from and why you're doing South Texas Voice.
Well, I'm an independent journalist and I'm the CEO of Holbein Publishing. I started a publishing company for the sole purpose of being able to have a wide spectrum of media. I do television, I do radio, and I do newspaper.
Right. And so going that route, you have... we could, scrolling up for the viewers, the South Texas Voice, and we're seeing the latest edition. Let's just cut to the chase. Who better than the descendant of the first mayor of Corpus Christi to hammer some of these politicians? They want to run, they better pack a lunch, right? So let's start out with Macomb versus Chesney race, okay? And we're going for a runoff. This show's going to be playing all in May. Okay, how do you see it? What are the tea leaves looking like? What are you hearing on the ground?
I see Chesney winning this race. Even Macomb has done great things for Nueces County. There's no question.
But your straw poll right now has Chesney.
But right now, if you were to ask me to hang the flag, I'm going to hang it on Chesney.
And now you've gone to the Town and Country, you've gone to the country clubs, you've been on the links. So you're talking with the conservatives. They're going to be pulling the lever for this. True or not true?
True. And Chesney's a professional. He's a veteran.
And Macomb's not? And this guy has served for 30 years around here.
Yes, he is. Macomb is a professional as well. But what it comes down to in politics, Joe, is it comes down to TV, radio, print, social media, and the ability to talk very, very clearly to the voters. It also comes down to money. Who's going to spend the money on television?
It also comes down to campaign management.
And a very strong point, very good point, campaign management. And with no question, Chesney is shown to be the Iceman. He can take a punch.
Tell me about it.
He can handle the heat, and he's a very smooth talker.
Who thought about the Pinocchio Joe commercial, man? That rolls, man. I mean, it was like wham, the nose,
One thing about Chesney, he's that is old as my great-grandmother's wooden shoes is, I'm not going to raise taxes.
That's all he says. One message.
Okay.
Everybody's so sick of it. That's all they remember.
It is what it is.
Dude.
It's Flintstone-aged politics.
I mean,
okay,
man.
It is. Straight up.
That's all I've heard from his mouth is, I won't raise taxes.
But he's good at what he does.
I'll ask him, are you the 20th terrorist after 9/11? He goes, I won't raise taxes. That's all he's saying.
Chesney says that County Court 5 is so stressful that a judge can't serve there more than one term.
And he said that on this show. That's where you ripped that from, bro.
That he's a trial attorney. Okay, that he tried 75 cases apparently on a government application. He's been turned down a couple of times by Rick Perry.
That's why I'm asking, why do you think that he's in the lead right now? Look, Perry shot him down, okay? They have him on record saying he tried 75 trials and he didn't try 75 trials. Macomb's hit him there. Macomb's hit him that, he was texting while he was in city council and living in Dallas. I mean, you don't think that Macomb can pull it off with those kinds of things that he's throwing bullets at? Or do you think it's a scattered shotgun sort of attack?
Well, it really depends on Macomb and his campaign management, which I question. And really, I don't see McComb coming out swinging. All right, if people were paying attention to the Balderas Cantu campaign,
which you were a part of when you came out and busted Cantu on the wrecker
illegal towing.
Yeah, man, that was hardcore.
It's true.
Yeah,
it's public record.
All right,
and it's a fact that he owes several people refunds on illegal towing.
Are these people still calling you about Cantu's towing, even after the election?
I get messages on Facebook. I've received 2 or 3 recently that Cantu has towed my parents' car, and I've been towed by Lone Star Towing.
Apparently, somebody who didn't vote for it.
It's just he looks at it as business, and
can't fault him for that. I mean,
that's what it is.
He's a wrecker.
Hook and run. That's what it is. He's a record driver.
Look, record drivers. Look, we know record drivers too. Apollo, that is doing stuff for the city. That they are taking drunk drivers off the street. They're giving them a ride home. I mean, we're not trying to demonize by any means tow truck drivers.
No, and this isn't about Cantu. But if people
we're using it as an example.
We're using the campaign.
I digress.
We're using the campaign.
All right, let's go back to the politics. Okay, so
you better come out swinging.
There you go.
You come out swinging. You come out swinging for a knockout. And
you don't think McComb's come out swinging?
If you're soft, if you don't think your opponent's going to be negative, if you don't look at it as preparation for war, or as Tom Landry said, the man in the hat, the great coach of the Dallas Cowboys. You better step out on the field to play, and to play to win, gentlemen. Play to win.
Well, and let me ask you this, Tom. You ran into Warner, all right? And now, what did Warner tell you?
Warner said,
and we're talking about the county court at law number 4
race. This is
Carlos Valdez, the Salina prosecutor running against Mark Warner. But it is a non-presidential cycle. Republicans have a slight advantage at the gate starting out. But what did you and Warner talk about?
We talked about the engagement of negative campaigning, and that here's Carlos Valdez, Mark Warner, and I want to give the flag to Valdez. And the reason I'm doing this
now, it's a little early.
He's a veteran. He's a veteran. He's been around a long time. Has tried some big cases, as we well know.
Well, so is Warner.
And it also, when you're running for judge, one thing people need to understand is it's how you play the game. It's you play the game to win. You're in an election to win.
Well, let me see here. Hold
on. They have this off the record agreement not to go negative on each other.
I have you saying that quote.
And
me and Carlos.
One of the biggest mistakes a politician can make.
Well, you said it here. Me and Carlos promised each other we were not going to go negative. You printed that. Is that what Warner said?
That is what he said.
You stand by that?
I stand by it. That they have a gentleman's agreement
so
not to go negative.
It was off the record comment with Carlos, but on the record with you.
That's correct.
That's correct. Okay, just to be,
that's
now Warner carries a lot of guns. You better be careful. You know what I mean? But he's a gun lover. We went and looked on pictures. I admire that. You are too.
I'm all about the NRA. I'm all about the right to bear arms. As I went to the state capitol.
I know what a great hunter you are, and
I talked to the lawmakers about gun rights here in Texas when Obama came out.
When you have the screensaver of what was that hog that you shot out there in Hebronville? When you have a screensaver of that, instead of a Corpus Christi sunset, you are a hunter. But anyway, so for that, I love Mark. And I think Mark is an excellent attorney. I think that he is. We went to Vanderbilt. There's no question that he's extremely intelligent. And he's a great man. He's done a great thing for the community. But let's go back to politics. So why are you saying Carlos is taking the flag?
It comes down to, is Mark's campaign management going to be enough?
Well, does he have management?
Are they going to come out swinging? Are they going to play to win? As Tom Landry would say, you step on the field to play to win. And if with this gentleman's agreement that they're not going to go negative, that is just the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in politics.
Right.
Okay, truly. My great-great-grandfather, right, was around 1859 in politics. In 1859,
We're talking about Reuben Holbein.
yeah, they didn't have iPhones and air conditioning. They had Colt 45s and horses. And they handled things a whole nother way. He would say, it's time to raise the standards in Nueces County.
Dude.
You know, you want to be nice? You want to be nice, really? Then spend your money, be nice, and stay an attorney, because you're not going to win.
Okay, and you know, going back to that, we look at the Martha Huerta Quintanilla race. We're going to be taking a break, okay? But I know that you have met at least with one of the sides and tried an interview, and I think that you're going to be asking Madrigal for an interview or something. But we're going to be taking a break. But ladies and gentlemen, this is taking the county and South Texas by storm. If you want to friend my good friend and our good friend here, because you better be his friend. I mean, God, you know, never mess with a guy with a printer and ink. Tommy Holbein, Holbein. Friend him, and you can see his newspaper, the South Texas Voice, on there, and also in print in a taqueria and a diner near you. We're going to take a break with Tommy Holbein, Holbein Publishing, one of the descendants of Reuben Holbein, the first mayor of Corpus Christi. We're coming back and talking about the Marta Huerta Quintanilla race versus Melissa Madrigal when we come back.
Have you been arrested or are potentially facing criminal charges? You need a trial attorney who is well versed in the courtroom. Joe Flores has handled hundreds of criminal cases and many of them to trial. Joe Flores can provide you with competent representation to protect your constitutional rights in state and federal court. Joe Flores can help if you have been arrested or facing criminal charges. The law offices of Joe Flores. Equal justice for all. Have you or a loved one suffered a stroke, heart attack, unexplained low blood pressure, or death during dialysis? The FDA has issued warnings and recalled the product Granuflo and Naturalite used in dialysis. At least one national company failed to warn the public that over 900 people had suffered cardiac arrest or death. A condition called metabolic alkalosis developed, which may have caused the harm. Call the law offices of Joe Flores today. With a combined 25 years of experience in the medical field and as a trial lawyer, Joe Flores can help. Call now.
Hi, this is attorney and board-certified nurse practitioner Joe Flores on behalf of Vasquez Flores Home Health. Nursing homes have their place, but having care in your own home is very important. Call today for more information. Backed by over 20 years of experience, registered nurse Priscilla Vasquez can answer your questions about home care. Call 881-9922. That's 881-9922 today. And we're back after a brief break. We're here with none other than Thomas Holbein, the descendant of Reuben Holbein, first mayor of Corpus Christi, and we're talking about South Texas Voice. If you just joined us, he was giving some predictors with some grassroots and, you know, putting his thumb out in the wind there to see where the wind is blowing politically. And we were talking about Carlos Valdez race versus Mark Warner. And we were talking also about the Chesney-McComb race. And just to recap, you are saying, Chesney, in your straw poll right now and talking to the conservatives and on the golf course and the country clubs, as well as on the street, the blue-collar Republican, the phenomenon that's always been there, that Chesney has a sort of lead. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and you're saying that's about fighting harder or what? I mean, I don't want to lead you or put words in your mouth, but you said it. That Chesney is, what did you say, Iceman, perhaps? And that he's, one word, taxes. You said Flintstone politics, one word. So, all right, recap.
McComb, prove me wrong. I mean, honestly, I like Joe McComb. And
I do too.
You know, Joe McComb's a great commissioner.
But you think his campaign's in trouble?
That's what I believe.
Okay, and how's he going to turn the ship
It's a factor
around?
beyond my control. You know, it's a factor beyond my control. It's in his control to get the vote.
Right. And, okay, and then going back to Warner and Valdez, the gentleman's agreement, we won't fight dirty. What's your analysis on that off the cuff comment that me and Carlos have agreed not to fight dirty?
Well, it's like the Steelers and the Cowboys agreeing not to hit each other very hard. Seriously. Seriously, gentlemen. Seriously.
Hilarious, man.
Honesty check.
Honesty check.
Honesty check. Let's be honest.
Ding, ding, ding. Yeah, right.
You're going to go out there with big pillow gloves?
Yeah, exactly, man. It's kind of going after the Pacquiao. Pacquiao's not going to hit the other guy too hard. Okay, all right. Zooming back in, the big other race. Let me tell you, the Leviathan of a race that everybody is looking at. Even though but it matters because it's about our children. Seriously, Court 5 here, Nueces County Court at Law Number 5, Juvenile Justice, Marta Huerta Quintanilla, MHQ, and Melissa Madrigal. I've seen your paper on this, and many people are split on this one, you said, and that Madrigal seems to have run out of steam while Bert is firing up the RV, Bert being Marta Huerta Quintanilla's husband. What do you mean by firing up the RV?
She has a strong campaign support group, and Bert's been doing a great job. I see Marty Quintanilla taking this primary runoff.
So you're seeing that sort of like in reverse. We got Bill Clinton with Hillary. You're seeing a strong partnership between Bert and Marta Huerta Quintanilla on campaigning. It's almost like a dual role sort of thing, husband and wife, and Bert is firing up the RV.
Well, they have a plan of action. They have a plan. They work the plan, and they know the plan.
Have they spent money on campaigning? It takes money to win.
That's the one question that I'm not sure I can answer correctly. They did some commentarios with 104.9 and KTMB, and it takes money to win. It does. You need to be on television. You need to be on radio. You need to be on print. You need to be on social media. You need to work. But it takes all of these things. It takes a really good commercial and strategically timing those commercials. So, for instance, Domingo Live on Sundays, and it needs to be on the morning KIII.
Because it is a Democratic, it's a Democratic runoff. So you're hitting your base. Domingo Live, early morning. People are driving to the base, 5 in the morning.
And if the officials that are running right now pay attention to state representatives, state candidates that are in
Like who?
Well, like Lieutenant Governor Letitia.
Vanderput, nice lady. You interviewed her. What do you think on that?
And Wendy Davis is another one.
Yeah, but Democrats are in trouble statewide too.
Well, what they do is they're constantly raising money for their campaign. They understand what it takes for the machine to work, and it takes money. They're always working, and they're always raising money.
Well, and I think they have a good, for a general thing, the Democrats may be in trouble for the short term, but I think this state is turning purple. It's starting to go from the red, mega red, Ted Cruz sort of red to kind of a little bit more purple. You're seeing that in Dallas. You're seeing that here. But Nueces County is a little bit different. In fact, she had an opponent, Ray Madrigal, you mentioned in your publication, that took Hidalgo County. Okay, so let me ask you this.
Congratulations to Ray for that.
Exactly, Ray.
Congratulations to Ray.
Yeah, man, he took Hidalgo.
I voted for Ray.
There you go. Oh, man, you have to bust out with that.
I did.
Really? All right.
Ray, you had my vote.
All right, and you said that on TV, too,
I did.
in the primary.
I voted for Ray.
Okay, well, let's zoom back and say, let's just suppose that Marta Huerta Quintanilla has the money, has the cash, so to speak, because it takes money to get elected. I mean, anybody... Why run? I was fascinated by these politicians who say they have no money. Unless they're lying, why did they run in the first place if they have no money? Can you answer that for me?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, Joe. I know that it costs money to run. It takes money to run the machine. And sometimes you may have a budget in mind, but it's going to exceed that. A perfect example is the Balderas Cantu campaign. if they had budgets in mind, they exceeded those budgets. One, Eric Cantu spent
40 G's for
$40,000
a JP race. Well, and I mean, bottom line, look, we've got a minute left. Let me see how you are calling this one. Oh, great mystic Holbein. Wesley Reed and Blake Farenthold right now, if you were going to put your finger in the wind, Blake Farenthold versus Wesley Reed, what are you seeing?
Blake Farenthold.
And why? Okay, you're saying Blake, but has Reed spent any money?
Not that I know. He is up against a war machine, and
because you've gone into the belly of the beast in D.C. and here. Okay, and what do you see? And what do you see with Blake? Because a lot of people underestimate him. I know Bill Maher. I'm an admirer. Bill Maher is saying, flip a district, that he's one of the guys that he's targeting. But Blake said, well, show me the money. If you're going to get me out of office, you better have the money to do it.
13 counties, a lot of territory, and it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of strategic planning. It takes a strategic team. It takes a lot of money.
But I'm telling you, Wes may take it because he's a lieutenant colonel. That military vote, a lot of people are not happy at the base. If Blake has a chance, he better step it up with his base, and he better do that. Last 30 seconds, how do they get a hold of you if they have an interesting story to tell? If somebody wants to get a hold of you by advertising for South Texas Voice, what is the magic number? 980-7748?
That's it, 361-980-7748, or contact me on Facebook at Tommy Holbein.
Keep it simple, the websites and stuff. We're working on
the South Texas Voice Holbein Publishing Facebook page.
Okay, and
there you go.
I can't wait for the next edition. I mean, there's not anybody you didn't hit in here. You unloaded the political clip. Let me tell you. Okay,
Joe,
this thing's rolling.
You know what we say?
Well, yes.
I'm not running for anything. I'm not hiding from anything, and I'm going to tell it like it is.
Well, thank you, Tommy Holbein, publisher of South Texas Voice. Friend him, Tommy Holbein, Holbein, and that's there on Facebook, and also South Texas Voice, your voice, South Texas Voice. And we're going to take a break. We're coming back with attorney extraordinaire about erasing possibly or non-disclosing possibly your criminal record. Stand by.
Have you been arrested or are potentially facing criminal charges? You need a trial attorney who is well-versed in the courtroom. Joe Flores has handled hundreds of criminal cases and many of them to trial. Joe Flores can provide you with competent representation to protect your constitutional rights in state and federal court. Joe Flores can help if you have been arrested or facing criminal charges. The law offices of Joe Flores. Equal justice for all.